This is your host, Jason Snellgrove, and I will be your guide as we journey down the road to pleasure hunt or hitting the long trail to those great comp hunts. This is the Coonhound Collective podcast. All right, welcome to the Coonhound Collective podcast today. We were going to have, starting today, dog food podcast, be multiple parts, multiple weeks, but I'm trying to go through the edit process of it, and I'm just not quite ready. So this is going to be a short podcast, but a few things I wanted to talk about and get out there to people. And first of all, congratulations to the 96 dogs that are going to the TOC finals. A couple guys I know got through. Lane Denny and Tyler Compton got through with Shot and Juice. So that was pretty cool. Also, in that same vein, I want to talk about a few weeks ago we had Jared Lehman and Kyle Stoops on, and they had took Lola to the Winter Classic, won big down there. She won English Days last year. Dog was really doing some winning, and unfortunately, Friday night something happened that happens, I guess, to some of us out there that some of us are concerned about whenever we cut a dog loose. Lola got hit by a vehicle crossing a road and unfortunately did not make it. And I didn't talk to Kyle and Jared about, putting anything out on that, but I want to touch on it just a little bit today. I don't think they would mind. They put it out publicly on Facebook what had happened. I text both of them just to tell them how sorry I was to hear about it, and sounds like I never got to hunt with her. It sounds like she's a really, really nice dog. That's something that we all know in the back of our mind at any time could happen. And I don't know what kind of hunting dog Lola was. Maybe they were hunting small blocks and she just hunted it out and crossed the road. But I know some dogs, and I'm not saying she was this way, just kind of blow the country and just go and go and go and go. And whenever you have that type of dog, as Granddad's farms are getting sold off more and more, you will begin to cross more and more roads and increasing the chance of that dog getting hurt. For years now, several years, that's the type of dog that we've seen kind of come to the forefront, one that, just blow the country. And again, I'm not saying Lola was that kind. I've never hunted with her, and I don't believe she was, just talking to Jared and Kyle. But I've hunted with some that were, they just, when you unsnap, they just run and run and run to get through the country and, try to get up on a coon and get it treed, as quickly as possible. And, we say the one of the greatest threats to our sport is not bringing, more youth involved and bringing the youth to the forefront. And granted, it is. And I'm not making light of that. But another threat to our sport is, these farms are getting sold. You have a 100-acre farm and it gets sold and busted in half or quarters, or, some farms are getting busted up in 10-acre tracts. And so now you got 10 landowners instead of one. And in doing that, they may put, a road through there. So now you got a smaller tract of land to go through. So, this is just something that we all have to think about whenever we're out there hunting. There's no really way to be prepared for it. I know some guys that, they claim that they don't want to turn a dog loose off a paved road. Well, I'm not real sure where they hunt, but in my country, you're going to turn loose off a paved road. If you show up here to hunt, most of the time you're going to turn loose off a paved road unless we go to the government. And we are fortunate that we do have some national forest, but there is still roads that run through it. And even there, one of the national forests not far from my house, just south of me here, has a major highway that runs through the middle of it, or a section of it. And I know Brett, he lives over in a bunch of national forest, and there's a highway runs right through some of it. So you still, even in that, take a chance of that dog getting on the road and getting hit. You just got to know when, hey, withdraw me. I know it's a big hunt. Withdraw me. I'm going to get my dog. Or, maybe you just have a check that you don't want to turn it loose, and maybe you just take that chance. I know here I don't know, it's been a week or so ago, I was at a PKC hunt, turned creeper loose, dogs, 3-dog cast, 2 dogs go straight in. He goes left-handed. He likes to be by himself. And I hadn't heard from him. Picked my phone up, checked my Dogtra, and he's almost to a highway. So immediately my mind goes, okay, do I need to try to talk these guys into calling time out because of where he's going, or do I wait and see what happens? Well, I'd say like most hunters do, I thought, well, we'll wait and see if he gets a little closer. Then maybe we can go that route. And thankfully, he went just a little ways further. I mean, he's still pretty close to the highway, but he made a turn and come back kind of in front of us there and got treed. So with that being said, my heart goes out to Jared and Kyle. It's, when you put that much work into a dog, you guys that hunt all the time and get dogs ready for big hunts, you put that much work and time and effort in getting a dog going. Not only do you lose all that, but then you lose that friend, that bond that you built with that animal over that time. And there is a bond that's built. I had my black and tan, which you hear every week on the beginning of this podcast when it starts up. He got sick, and I've done a lot of things, spent a lot of money trying to get him healed up and get him back right, and it just didn't work. He ended up dying on me. And, I had 2 years of my life poured into that dog. That's the only dog I had, and that's the only thing I was hunting. And so it's tough. It is really, really tough. But, so I'm sorry to hear about that. But congratulations to all the winners that got through. Here in a couple of weeks, I guess we'll see who the Tournaments of champion is. That'll be going on in a couple of weeks from now. And we'll get to the... maybe I'll be set up and ready for the dog food podcast. I just didn't want to put that out without really taking the time to go through and edit it and make it sound the way I want it to sound, with background and voices. And I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into this for you that may not have no idea. We don't just sit down and record them and then they're ready to go. I go back and, do a lot of editing. So I just want to make sure that one's right. It's going to probably end up being 3 parts for sure, maybe 4, but 3 parts for sure. It just depends on how I can break it up. And it's going to be me and Brett in the first 2 talking. It's going to be Keith Dotson, Extreme Dog Fuel, talking on the last part. And just before you say, well, I'm not going to listen to that, just hear me out. The Keith Dotson part, the reason why I brought him in, for one, Keith's a great guy. They have a great product. I would like everyone to try Extreme Dog Fuel. It's a good dog food. But they don't sponsor this podcast. He's not sponsoring those episodes. Keith was a dog food nutrition consultant first. Then he bought Extreme Dog Fuel. Some of that played into why I got him on the podcast. There were some other people I had thoughts about trying to get on. Didn't know how easy that would be. Didn't even know if it was possible. Reached out to Keith. No problem. Whenever you want to do it, let's get together. Let's do it. So that's the reason why Keith's on. A lot of good information that is going to be on that podcast. Brett went through and researched a jillion different things, words that I can't even repronounce. That will be on our portion. And he goes in on detail on a lot of that stuff, a lot of great information on that podcast. So you want to make sure you tune in, listen to all 3. They'll make sense. Hey, other than what's the brightest light, what's the best thermal on the market, other than those 2 questions, it's one of the most talked about things on Facebook, is what dog food do you feed? Where do you get it? And I don't know that we really answer those questions on this because we're not pointing out one dog food in particular. But I think we give you some information that you can go back and do your own research, figure out what's best for you and what's available to you in your area. And that's what we're trying to do. Just bring awareness to what you're feeding. There's a lot of good dog feed out there. I'm going to feed extreme dog fuel. I think Brett's to the point he's going to feed extreme dog fuel. There's some guys that I know they feed Value Pack. There's some guys I know feed Joy, Diamond, Pride. They're all have their place. But there's some information you can go through that Brett brings out, and it's probably going to be one of those that you probably need to stop, make a note, listen, make a note, and so forth and so on as this podcast develops and goes on. Because it's going to be stuff you want to go back and listen to and do your own research and look at your dog food bag, see what's in there. Can you pick up the phone and call the company and find out, hey, this, and this? Those are important questions to me. One of the things I like about feeding extreme dog fuel, I can call and get an answer, whether it's from Keith, and this was prior to any relationship built with Keith. I could call and ask questions and get answers. I believe Curtis Buckner, he done some phone calling before he fed it down there. They answered his questions, no problem. So that's one of the selling points to me this season. And and Keith and his part of this that we do with him, he brings out some very, very eye-opening and ear-opening points for me. I don't want to spoil it. I want him to tell it, how it comes out from him. And then, maybe I can come back and do a podcast afterwards and kind of give y'all my thoughts on it after the fact. But he really goes into some details on some things, and some things that are major selling points for other brands of dog food that I always thought was a good selling point too until he explained it. So you really want to be, take your time and listen to that podcast, make some notes, and I hope you really enjoy it, because I'm telling you, I just kind of held a microphone and done some talking back and forth with Brett. But hey, my hat's off to Brett. He done a lot of research. He didn't have to, but he enjoys doing that stuff, and it's in his heart to do that stuff, research it, try to get information out to help people. And Keith, I just kind of ask a few questions and sit back and let him talk. So my part's just doing the editing. Them guys are the ones with the information, and a lot of good information there. So with all that, springtime's here. I'm sure wherever you're at, if you're further south than southwest Missouri, it's probably really green where you're at, and springtime's been there for a while. So this may be getting to you a little late, but springtime's here. We need to get our stuff ready for our dogs. We need to make sure our dogs are good. I started already seeing ticks in my area. Now, some of you guys down south may have been done seeing ticks, but we've been seeing a few ticks. I've not got any off me, but I've heard some other guys talk about getting ticks off them. So you know what that means. Ticks is going to be on your dog. And my squirrel dog has already had a few ticks on her. Matter of fact, we got some ticks off, 2 ticks off of her today. Now, she's on a preventative, and that's what I kind of wanted to talk about. Springtime's Here podcast today. Just kind of a reminder, because I kind of needed the reminder. We pulled those 2 ticks off, and I didn't have her collar on, her regular dog collar, and I usually keep those purple cow tags on my dog's collars, and I see that they really work really well. I see very few, I'd never see fleas, and very few ticks on any of my dogs. I can't tell you the last time I pulled a tick off a hound, and every one of them's got that purple tag on, and they're all on preventative as well. So maybe, it's been wintertime, you've been up north, you've kind of been, hey, I know I do too. That stuff's expensive to give every month, even in the winter when the ticks are dead. But hey, it's that time. Get your order in, whatever you're going to give for tick preventative. I use Simparica Trio. I really like it. It's worked out well for me. I think Brett uses that. I don't know what else he uses besides that, but he uses a couple different things. But I do that. I do the purple cattle tags, zip tied to the collars. That stuff seems to work really, really well. and keep fleas and ticks off of them. Also, you know, maybe you live in a colder climate and you took your no spill bowl or water or whatever it was, water tank, off the truck. Hey, it's getting in those temperatures now where you really need to think about, I need to get that back on the truck. I need to make sure I got water, available for those dogs. Because they get out there, get hunting hard. You're hunting, every night. Those dogs need extra water. So, make sure you have that available to them to be able to get that water to them. I've got a external tank and I had took it off the truck, but I put my no spill bowl back in the other day, and I was just toting water like a gallon jug or whatever for now, so I can sit it in my back floorboard of my pickup. But it's that time of year where you got to make sure you got that extra water for the dog, but you're also going to probably need it for you because I know for me here a few nights ago we went and I was sweating. I was ready for some water when I got back to the truck. So I also, if you haven't done this already, I try to train mine to drink out of a water bottle. My dogs, Creeper would, if you pull a water bottle out of a tree, he's ready for it. He'll drink out of one real good. Angel is doing pretty good at it. Still need to do a little work with her, but Creeper does really good at drinking out of it. Teach your dogs to drink out of a water bottle. It's a good little, just like if you've been on a run or whatever for a little while, you need that little shot of water to kind of get you through. You get to a tree, you can pull that bottle out, give them a little shot of water or whatever you're going to give them, and get them off that tree and get them recut. So especially when it gets hot. And Creeper's a dog that gets really hot really quick. I've had him tested for everything you can think of. Nothing's ever showed up except him being a little dehydrated. So I water bait him, but I water bait him year round. So all of his food is floating in water when he eats it. Just trying to help get that extra liquid in him. And then I try to keep water on the truck for him year round, even if I had to keep it in the cab. So a couple of those things. One thing, especially me being in a colder climate, I've done this here a week or two ago. In the wintertime, when it's warm, I get to wash my pens out. When it's cold, you either have to scoop it out or, maybe you wait 2 or 3 days, get a good day, then wash it out. And then, you got to let either blow or drain all the water out of your power washer. So it's springtime, so I got my dogs out, tied them all out in the sun on a really nice day here a week or two ago, washed all my pens down, I washed the walls down. It's that time of year, get in there and take care of your kennels. They'll last longer, dogs will feel better, and honestly, you'll probably even feel better about them, especially if it's been all winter. I run out of time. One of the things I like to do is do all that, and then I've got some sanitizer that I will sanitize everything with and let it sit and wash out. Well, I didn't have time to do that. I just washed everything. So probably here in another week or so, I'll kind of get caught up with some things at work, and if we can have a rain spell get past it, I'm going to go through and power wash walls and everything again. And even at that time, what I'll do is I'll spray my kennels down with sanitizer, and then I'll go out and I'll bathe each dog I have. Just, kind of, I don't know, it's just something I like doing, getting them fresh and clean, coming into the spring and getting my kennels kind of cleaned up from the winter time and, things like that. I just think it's something good to do, and the dogs seem to enjoy it too. They like getting tied out for a little while and laying in the sun and enjoying that spring sun. So just some reminders that I wanted to jump on here because maybe you've thought about them. Another thing is worming. Make sure you're staying on top of your worming. It's fixing to get warmer weather, and we have worm issues year round, but things can really ramp up this time of year. So make sure you're on your worming schedule. You're doing whatever wormer you're doing. Make sure you stay on top of that this time of year, and to me, that's the biggest things. If you're, making sure you take care of the fleas and tick issue, making sure you're worming your dogs, making sure, you're keeping your water for your dogs on the truck when you're out hunting them, make sure they got fresh water in their pens, buckets are clean, fresh food, and for me, trying to keep the kennels clean, especially from now till it gets cold. I power wash mine just about every day. So, if not every day, every other day. I wash it out with a water hose. I got a trough in the back. I've got concrete floors, so I wash mine to a trough in the back, and then every other day I wash the trough out. So, or I do it every day. Just depends on how much time I have that day. But those are just a few things I wanted to touch on today, to try to give kind of some reminders, because it kind of snuck up on me. Like I said, we pulled a couple of ticks off my squirrel dog, and like I said, she's on a preventative, and then I realized, oh, she don't have a regular dog collar on, and she don't have her purple tag, so that probably didn't help matters none. So, hey, and if that tag's been on there for a year, 6 months or a year, it's probably time to cut it and put a new one. I just went through and done all that back in the winter, so I'm good there on my hounds. I just need to do that with her. So anyway, it's going to be short. It's going to be sweet today. Again, I hated to hear about Lola with Jared and Kyle. Wish them the best success with whatever dog they have coming next. And, just, hey, keep it in the back of your mind that anytime you unsnap that leash, it could happen to you. And also just remember those few things for springtime. At that time of year, we got to be ready. We got to be prepared. So that's where I'm going to leave it. Make sure you tune in. It's probably starting next week, unless something goes awry this week. We probably will start the dog food series next week. You're gonna want to listen to them. Trust me, you're gonna want to listen to them. So till next time, I'll catch you then. Thanks, guys, for listening to the Coonhound Collective podcast today. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to listen to the podcast. If you don't mind, head over to Facebook and give us a like, and head over to Instagram and give us a follow. It's both at the Coonhound Collective. Also, if you would like to reach us here at the Coonhound Collective, you can reach us at thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. If there's someone that you would like to hear on the podcast, or a product that you would like to hear talked about, please send it to thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. Thanks again. Have a great day.